She messaged me saying, "I let my ex use my car for a few days. Please don't freak out." I answered, "Why would I be upset?" And without another word, I phoned the insurance company and took her off the plan entirely. The frantic call I got the next night when he was pulled over told me everything I needed to know. I'm Derek, 35. And about 6 weeks ago, I discovered that the strongest reaction to blatant disrespect is a quiet, deliberate withdrawal. Alicia and I had been together almost 3 years. We matched on a dating app, bonded over weekend hikes and laughing at awful reality shows, and she moved into my home about a year and a half later. Our relationship had its rough edges, her impulsive spending, and her constant need to put her friends ahead of our plans. But I genuinely believed we were stable. Clearly, I misread everything. The car mess has layers, so here's the context. 2 years back, her old car completely gave up. The engine locked up and repairing it was pointless. She was job hunting and worried about finances, so I stepped in. I had just finished paying off my truck, so I agreed to co-sign a lease for her. We got her a simple, dependable sedan. Nothing flashy. Because her credit score wasn't great, both the lease and insurance were under our names. I covered the monthly insurance around $180 since it was easier being bundled with my truck. And she was supposed to send me half, though she only did it a little more than half the time. I didn't make it an issue. I assumed we were planning a future together. Her ex, Tyler, was someone she'd dated for 2 years before me. She claimed the breakup was ugly. He cheated. She threw him out, and they supposedly hadn't spoken since before she and I met. Sometimes she mentioned him just to talk about how immature he'd been or how different I was. So I never considered him a threat. Then on that Wednesday afternoon at 2:47 p.m., while I was in a meeting, my phone buzzed with a text from Alicia. "Hey, babe." When she sent me the message saying, "I loaned my ex my car for a few days. Don't be upset. His vehicle died and he needs transportation for work. Since I'm home all week, I won't need it. Just giving you a heads up." I stared at my screen, letting the words sink in until I was sure I wasn't misreading them. She had handed over the car, technically our shared vehicle because my name was tied to both the lease and the insurance, to her former boyfriend without even checking with me first, only notifying me afterward as if it were a minor update. I replied, "Why would I be?" And she immediately texted back something like relief, saying she was glad I wasn't acting strange about it and thanking me for being understanding. I finished my work meeting in a daze, barely absorbing anything anyone said, and as soon as it ended, I headed down to the garage, sat in my own car, and contacted my insurance provider. A cheerful agent named Brian picked up and greeted me, and I told him I needed to remove a person from my policy, Alicia Bennett, explaining that I was no longer comfortable keeping her covered. It wasn't the full truth. We were technically still a couple, but I had a strong sense that wouldn't last. He confirmed that once removed, she would have no coverage and would have to arrange her own policy immediately if she intended to continue driving. I told him I understood, and within minutes he processed the change and sent a confirmation that the adjustment would reflect within the hour, notifying all associated parties. After hanging up, I sat quietly with my hands on the steering wheel, strangely calm. Not furious, not hurt, just finished. Finished with always being the second thought. Finished with being updated instead of consulted. Finished with footing bills while being treated like an option. I returned to my tasks. Didn't message her. Didn't call her. Simply carried on as though nothing had occurred. A little after 6:30, the confirmation email arrived, stating she'd been successfully removed. 17 minutes later, my phone lit up with her name. I let it ring out. She tried again 5 minutes later while I was driving, so I answered through the car's Bluetooth. She sounded alarmed as she asked whether I'd received an email from the insurance company, insisting hers must have been some sort of mistake. I told her it wasn't an error. Silence followed until she demanded an explanation, and I told her plainly that since she had decided to loan out the vehicle without involving me, she could handle the insurance without my involvement too. She protested wildly, saying she couldn't afford her own policy, and I simply told her she should have considered that before passing the keys to her ex. She claimed I was being irrational and accused me of trying to control her, but I nearly laughed because it was the first time I'd actually done the opposite. She made a solo decision. I made a solo decision. Balanced equation. She insisted I reinstate her immediately, but I refused, telling her she needed to secure her own coverage because I was done being the financial cushion she leaned on while giving me minimal respect in return. I ended the call. She kept calling. I kept declining.